Hello, 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 hello. Oh my goodness. I have not had an episode of Dating Dilemmas in so long. Okay, so first of all, I will say I apologize. I can admit when I have been slacking, and I literally have been slacking. Well, I don't think I've been slacking. If you notice, I've been recording my limited series of an in-person podcast, which has taken up a lot of my time. You'll have to let me know what you all think about those in-person podcasts, because I will probably be weird and do a mixture of both the in-person and the virtual one that you all are seeing now, Dating Dilemmas. But you got to let me know what you all think. Do you want me to keep doing both of them? Do you want me to pick one? Or you're like, Lamont, you can do it all. You're a rock star. No, I'm not. But if you like, comment, and share the video, and become a subscriber and buy some stickers, then maybe this will be my full-time job. Maybe. No, I don't think I want to do that. I enjoy matchmaking and dating coaching so much to actually quit doing that. But I do miss doing these. So we are back having another conversation. And you all know that I like having conversations that sometimes can be uncomfortable, but really impactful for gay men. So today, I really want you to brace yourself of being open, being honest, being transparent with this particular topic. I want to talk about erectile dysfunction, sexual performance anxiety, when you feel like you have to perform, but your body gets all nervous, tingly. I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about this crazy notion that sometimes gay men feel like every time that we have sex, it has to be like a porn star. Mm-hmm. Yep. If you're not breaking somebody's back or getting your back broken, it's not real sex. If it's not rock hard, you're like, oh, it's mid. That was kind of weak. Yep, I want to talk about that because I feel like ED affects gay men regardless of how old you are. It's not just something that older gay men have to deal with. I want to talk about what actually causes that anxiety in the bedroom. We're going to talk about some tools and strategies that really can help you boost pleasure in the bedroom, which I think is key, and also reducing some of the shame associated with your dick, your penis, whatever you call it, not being rock hard all the time. We're going to talk about some ways that you can have those one-on-one conversations with your partners so that you can improve some of those connection. And then finally, I know you're like, Lamont, we're talking about a lot today. Yes, finally, we're going to talk about like, how do we as gay men really redefine what sex is? Mm-hmm. Some of you all who are sides might like this in a bit. So we'll talk about that. But you all know whenever I start an episode, I want to share not just my opinions and my views, but I like to look at the data and what the data tell us about how you're experiencing the world in ways that we can improve. So I have a couple studies that I wanted to read from you all to talk about the data so you can't say, Lamont, this is just your opinion, okay? So, according to the Journal of Sexual Medicine, which is reputable, ED affects 1 in 4 men under the age of 40. Mm-hmm. So, it's just not the older people experiencing ED. Another article, the Trevor Project, they found that 70% of LGBTQ plus youth experience sexual performance anxiety or body related self doubt. And then finally, from Grinder, because you all are on Grinder most of the time, Grinder Community Insight Survey, it showed that 61% of gay men feel pressure to perform like a porn star during all of their sexual encounters. That's a lot of pressure that, like, you're not getting paid for this, but you're supposed to perform like one. Let's dive into this conversation. And to help me have this conversation, I have a special guest. His name is Shay Doran, and he specializes. Excuse me, I'm stuttering. He specializes in this. So I'm going to bring him to the stage. Please help me by giving him a warm welcome of applause.
Wow.
Hey Shay, how you doing?
Hey. That was uh, yeah. I had all expressions on my face in that introduction.
What were you feeling as I'm talking about setting the
Well,
stage?
that's what I was feeling like. Okay, we're covering a lot here. I better be bringing my A game. Uh, Secondly, the grinder study, I had not heard of that before. So thank you for sharing that. I'm looking forward to getting into that today because that is a big one.
Hmm.
Um, and also, what stood out to me is just how this is reality for so many of us guys.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
we don't talk about it because it feels so uncomfortable, awkward, embarrassing. And I know that that's what we're going to get into today. So,
Good.
yeah, I'm excited and I'm
Hmm.
ready. We're going to have some fun with this as well. It was just, as serious as it is, we can
Yeah,
have
I
some fun.
definitely, like to have fun with some of the serious conversations. But I'm okay with having uncomfortable conversations because I know it helps us to grow. And I'm okay with talking about things that people don't want to talk about and that they whisper with their friends. So you and I are going to just act like there's nobody watching, and we're going to have a conversation about, ED, sexual performance anxiety, and like really how it impacts gay men. So tell people a little bit about who you are, your background, and some of the things that you work on, Shay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think first of all, just the most important thing, this is what I do. So I
Mhm,
specialize in helping men to fix performance anxiety, to fix erection challenges. So
mhm,
that's why Lamont and I jam in on this subject today.
mhm,
And then in terms of myself, so I'm also a gay guy.
mhm,
I experienced this. I went through it myself for many years. And that's what has led me to the work that I'm doing now.
mhm,
My background before doing any of this was in banking and consulting.
mhm,
So
mhm,
on paper, I had a very successful career. A lot of pressure, a lot of intensity, pressure to perform, but in a different context, which we'll come on to as well. But this was all going on for me
mhm,
behind the scenes. I had a really bad relationship with sex and with porn
mhm,
as a result of just kind of thinking that is just how it was in terms of gay culture or gay way of life. And intimacy for me was about validation, or sex was about validation.
mhm,
Um, and then, and that combined with the porn, it didn't take me to a good place. It ended relationships, it led
mhm,
to erection challenges, performance anxiety. And that took me some time to even open up or to admit to myself about those challenges
mhm.
before I was ready to get it sorted. And then that's eventually what led me on the journey to now helping other men to do the same, to get things fixed.
I love that because you not only have the experience with it, but also you have the experience of working with other gay men and helping them to overcome that. So, um, like, what's one thing? Because I know we're going to talk about a lot, but what's one thing as people are watching you want them to know or brace themselves for as we have this conversation?
Okay, if you are experiencing this in any way, shape, or form, whether it's erection, ejaculation challenges, or just feeling a sense of pressure to perform, uh, just stick here. Okay, literally stay here, pen and paper for the next however long this is, because I may sound biased, but you're in the right place. You're in the right
Yeah.
place right now to actually get some answers. It's very easy to be stuck in this endless information trap online. I was also in this space for a very long time. There's so much out there in terms of videos, articles, promises to magic fixes, and it's not true, right? It's
Yeah.
not it hasn't worked. It didn't work for me. And if you're watching this, experiencing this, feeling like I've tried so many things,
Mhm.
I hear you. And so this is about to be some real talk around what works, what doesn't work.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of scams out there.
So we want you all to stay here to listen, to comment on this conversation because we're going to not just talk about it, but really give you some answers and solutions. And I know sometimes we as men want to ignore this
Yeah.
or really go to the extremes and really do some things that harm us mentally, physically, and sexually. just to have a hard dick, right? So we're going to talk about that and really help change your lives. So before we get into some of the Q&A and dive into some of the topics, Shay, I want to play a quick little rapid game with you. Are you open to it?
Of course, let's go.
Okay, perfect. All right. And if you're watching, I want you to play along with us in the comment section and comment as well. So I'm going to read some common beliefs and bedroom statements. Okay. Shay, I want you to tell me if these responses are either real talk, meaning healthy and true,
Mm.
or are these statements red flags like toxic or problematic?
All right, cool. Thanks for
Okay.
putting in the effort to do this. This is really cool.
Listen, I do my homework and I
Oh, that's
set things up the right way. Okay. All right. So you either have real talk or you have red flags. All right. So a guy says, if he can't get hard, he's not attracted to me.
hmm
Is
uh, okay, so it's not a red flag because many of us think this,
mm-hmm,
but it's a distortion of reality. Right, when we're
mm-hmm,
experiencing
mm-hmm.
it, and I probably you didn't want a full blown answer for each one of these things, so but I'm going to give a tiny answer.
Yeah.
It's not a red flag because it's not toxic as such, a toxic
Mm-hmm,
way of thinking, but it is a reality that
mm-hmm,
we imagine, or if we're not able to get hard, they're going to think that we're not attracted to them, or if the other
mm-hmm,
person's the other way around, that we think, oh, what if they're not attracted to me? So this
mm-hmm,
is a real thought that we never say out loud to each
mm-hmm.
other. It does happen internally.
So red flags can also be problematic. So the statement
Okay.
could be problematic, the statement that we say to ourselves.
It's a problematic statement.
Yep. So it's a red flag then. Okay.
It's a red flag. Where's my red flag?
I should have sent you red flags. So Shay is in Brazil, people. So I can't, ship him all that type of stuff. So, all right. So next statement. Okay. Either real talk or red flag. Okay. Um, I can't be good. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't be a good top if I can't stay hard.
Red flag.
Okay. Another statement. ED is something only older men deal with.
It's false. So it's a red flag.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Is
I
that
need
true? If it's a false thing, that it's a red flag?
this is your opinion, not mine. I'm not judging.
No, but I'm saying if this thing is false, so it's not true that ED is only something older men deal with. So we're saying it's a red flag because it's a
It's because it's toxic and it's also problematic because everybody deals with it.
yes, it's a problematic. If we think it's just because of our age,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Okay.
not true.
Another statement says, "I need Viagra just to feel confident."
Um, okay, I feel like every single one of these things is a red flag. I'm waiting for the green flag or but the real talk. But it's very easy to get in when we're saying red flag, by the way, it's not that this is bad or it's wrong, these thoughts. It's
Mhm,
very easy to get
mhm,
into this cycle of thinking,
mhm,
especially when we're used to taking Viagra, Cialis, or whatever it
mhm,
may be,
mhm,
that we do form a
mhm,
reliance, an over
mhm,
reliance on the
mhm.
pills. But actually, the pills is not the thing that gets performance anxiety sorted. So, what are we saying here? It's problematic to fall into that way of thinking. So, therefore, it would be a red flag. It's okay. It's okay if you're thinking any of these thoughts. This is all
You
right.
would be perfect on a game show because they want to hear your logic as you're coming up with the answers. I got two more statements. Okay,
All right.
one says we didn't have sex because we didn't fuck.
Mm, yes, problematic again because there's many other ways that we can be doing things.
Okay, I got one more. Okay, this is the last one. Sex is about connection, not just performance.
Yay, we have real talk. One real talk. There's the green flag.
You're like, finally, Lamont, where is it? Let us know in the comment section what you all think about that game. Yes, but like this really unpacks some of our logic, our stigma, and some of these negative things that we have about sex, about our body, about our penises, so I'm happy we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like the entire episode could just be on unpacking each one of those things, but a lot to talk about. So.
Yep. So I want to watch a movie, and it's a quick movie. It's about like 30 seconds of this episode. I'll let you all know where it comes from afterwards. But Shay, I want to get your input on this. Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever watched All the Queen's Men?
I haven't seen it.
You have to watch. It's a great
Oh.
movie. Okay, it's a great movie. So in this episode, this guy, he is he's a dancer. He's an erotic dancer, and he wears a cock ring
Okay.
the majority of the time, like throughout the day, but also definitely when he's performing. And he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Sir, you're literally killing all of the circulation to your penis, and at some point, it's no longer going to work. Like it's gonna you're because he's tying it on too tight and too often, so it's killing blood flow to his penis." And this just really shows the extent that some gay men or men go just to make sure that they can stay erect, which I think is definitely problematic. Like in your line of work, like have you seen men do wild and crazy things just to maintain an erection?
Probably some of the most common stuff is that taking the pills, so I don't think that's too wild or crazy. Probably injections takes it up another gear, so injections directly into the dick of Viagra or Cialis. So yeah, that's obviously that's quite a next level, having to put injections in that part of your body. Pumps, but
Pumps.
yeah, using pumps to be able to make it look bigger or stay hard. So the challenge here, and it was the same with what was in the video, and there's a lot out there that says it's okay to also use pumps, it's okay to use cock rings, etc. I guess it depends on the extremity to what level we're using it, and if we're having to rely on it, if we feel like things are becoming tighter or tighter, or we're having to pump more and more, then it does cross a bridge to where we start causing damage. So for this guy in the video, I'm not so sure if, and medically, I'm not a doctor, so I need to look at like the medical what would happen. But my instinct would be is that it's damaging the nerves. Well, it would reduce. This is also the same thing happens when we have this very tight grip with masturbation, which can also leads to erection challenges, because we're damaging the nerve endings basically over time. So I would imagine, yes, a similar thing could happen if it was very, very tight with the cock ring. Same thing can happen with the pump if we're doing it too much as well. It crosses a point where it becomes damaging and we lose sensitivity. That can be reversed, but obviously the longer we do it for, the longer it takes to reverse.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on using, or your views or opinions on using cock rings? Or how and how should they use them, or if they do, how can they use them safely?
I wouldn't say I have a set view on that. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's just being aware of if we're really having it, if it's anything that is painful, we shouldn't be doing that. And if it's anything that feels like it's causing, pain, damage, bruising, definitely not. Like we want to be avoiding that, because then that's where it's crossing into risky territory. But wearing a cock ring that is obviously they're a bit tight to stay on, but not a strangulation fit. Like that's what we want to be avoiding, where it's like we're doing that just to try to be able to get hard or make things look bigger, and we're doing it all the time. Like then it's a challenge.
Yeah, I've seen gay men at festivals, clubs, places where they will wear the cock ring for fashion, or just to be out to make it their penis look larger. And when I've seen it, I'm like, you've had that on for at least 2 hours, because you've been at, like, if you go to different they're like, Lamont, what type of festivals are you going to? But at these different pride festivals, sometimes gay men will walk around with their penises out. You all
Yeah.
have been there. I'm not the only one. And I'm like, I feel like it could do damage to them if they're wearing it for too long.
Hmm. I think it depends on the
Mhm.
how tight it is.
Yeah.
And what I would say, I mean, if you want to do that, it's okay. Just look at the different research, the different types of materials, because you have the metal ones, obviously, that's not expanding, that's not going anywhere. But you have others that are more rubber, for example, that as they warm up with the body's heat, they will expand. They're more flexible. That's what I would personally say. If you want to wear a cock ring, that's fine,
Yeah.
but go for ones that are more flexible as opposed to just they're not moving.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit about like what are some of the emotional or psychological causes of performance anxiety or erectile dysfunction. Like, what are you seeing some of the causes?
Okay, so this is a combination of, I would say, three things. Number one is unrealistic expectations about sex.
Hmm. Hmm.
Number two is then past experiences that haven't gone to plan, and so we keep those in our mind. And number three is usually related in some way, shape, or form to something early on in childhood. It can be sexual or not sexual. Examples could be being caught, could be caught exploring with somebody or caught masturbating or whatever, and there's a whole load of shame around it. So it's
Hmm. Hmm.
matching shame with sex, or even if it's not anything to do with sex, this pressure to perform, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's in academics, whether it's comparison to siblings in theatre or sports or whatever, but this in order to receive love from a parent or an authority figure that we have to be different to how we actually are. So I think what I see is a combination of those three things. It's never, I think guys usually when they come to me, they think it's just this one specific thing that's caused it.
Mm.
I'm yet to find where that is the case, actually. It's usually, in my view, it's a stacking of things over time and noticing how just going back to the point around early childhood experiences, many guys are like quite resistant to, no, that's got nothing to do with what's going on right now.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
my belief is the seeds of performance anxiety are planted at that younger age of what if I'm not good enough? What if they don't love me because of this? What if they leave me because of this? It's a very similar set of thought patterns that are going on now in our adult life, just in a different area. And that's the area of sex, but it happened in other areas in our early childhood years.
Yeah, so that's a lot, shade. That's a lot to unpack. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like if guys are like for the number of reasons you listed having, you know, performance anxiety or ED because of those reasons, they can't tackle that alone. Like I feel
Mm.
like that is something like they would have to work with a coach, a
Yeah.
therapist to kind of unlearn that, particularly if they're pairing sexual pleasure with shame or they're looking back at like, oh, last time I tried to have sex, my dick wouldn't get hard, it wouldn't stay hard the whole time. Or this expectation that they have to perform at a
Mhm.
certain level. That's stuff they have to talk to somebody about.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody teaches us this. Well,
Hmm.
for most of us, for like 99.9% of us, nobody teaches us this stuff. So I
Hmm.
agree with you.
Hmm.
And also, it feels difficult to open up and to talk
Yeah.
about this. And
Mm.
I've been there myself. You
Yeah.
know, we don't want to. We want
Mhm.
to be able to stay on our phones, researching, looking at videos behind the screen because it's more comfortable. We want to be able to figure it out by ourselves and not have to talk to anybody about this. And watching more videos, reading more articles,
Mhm.
it kind of keeps us hooked of like, oh, I feel like I'm learning more about it. If I can just find the one thing that's going to change all of this and get it all sorted, but that never happens. And
Yeah.
we stay in a learning mindset versus a practical, actually, what do we need to do to get this sorted? Same as riding a bike.
Mhm.
We can read all the books that we want to about how to ride a bike and learn all about it. When we actually get on the bike and ride it, that's when we really learn because we're doing
Yeah.
it for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So it's
this,
about practicing it. You have to practice that. Um,
yeah, the knowledge is one thing, but we have to know what to do with that. Uh, how do we implement the knowledge and things like, a lot of what we see online, breathing, meditation, yoga. this is good. I do all of those things, but they're
Mhm.
not the things in themselves that get performance anxiety, erection problems sorted.
Yeah. So there were years ago, I used to work in HIV prevention, and I would have people come into the clinic where I worked at to get tested for HIV. And
Mm.
back then, we would push condoms on guys. Like, you have to put a condom on your penis. Like because that was the goal, was to make sure that the guy who left out after his test was gonna say, yes, I want to use condoms. And a lot of reasons that guys did not want to use condoms included pleasure. They're like, oh, I really can't feel things. It also breaks up the
Yeah.
rhythm. Like, they're
Yeah.
in the mood, kissing, everything. They're like, oh, I gotta stop, go find it, and grab it. So we would literally in the session do some practice, like, hey, take the condom out. Like, how can you make it a part of the sexual experience? Right, right. Like, so it's not like a chore, but it's like sexy pulling the condom out or having the other partner put the condom on his dick. Like, it was all that practice stuff that you're talking about. And that kind of helped guys say yes, or we talked about lube or medications to
Yeah.
help them. But it's it's tough trying to help people change their behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I would even go so far to say that there's a biological element of us internally that can be resistant to that
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
So there's many things at play. Obviously, yes, it's good to use condoms, but the reality is that also doesn't happen a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does create these breaks in intimacy, but these breaks also happen in there's going back to the unrealistic expectations that we must
Mm-hmm.
stay hard all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whether it is when we reach for a condom and have to do the taking it out, figuring out is it the right way around, putting it on, this kind of thing, it is natural and it's normal for us to see a fluctuation. Our erection will go down in that moment. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because the stimulation is not the same, the moment is not the same. It's exactly the same when we go from the sofa into the bedroom, for example. We have to navigate to make sure that we don't trip over or fall over or smack into something.
Right.
So it's normal that we can expect the erection to fluctuate. It's the same when we're laying on the bed and our partner says, I'm just going to the bathroom, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Often what we have in our mind is, I've got to stay hard, I've got to stay in the zone. If they come back out and they see that I'm not hard, then it's game over. But the
Yeah.
reality is we have to realize that these fluctuations in the erections are totally normal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more about building things back up. We were hard a minute ago, so there's clearly not a problem with the erection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's about our mind and what we think, what we're saying to ourselves about the situation. So if we say instead to ourselves, then here's the first tip. Okay, I know that I don't have a problem with erections because I was hard a minute ago. And actually, I'm just going to focus on building things back up and then we'll have sex.
Right. Let's just get right back in the mood. And it's not that the guy's no longer turned on or
Exactly.
the problem with him getting an erection. It's just, hey, my mind went somewhere else for a quick second.
Yeah.
My body said, focus on not tripping or
Yeah,
use the restroom. Yeah.
exactly. But when our mind switches to I've got to stay hard and we notice any small variation and then start overly hyper focusing on that, it's
Mhm.
a turn off. These
Yeah.
thoughts are turn off thoughts, not
Yeah.
turn on thoughts.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about like the difference between not being turned on and actually being anxious when you're having sex?
The difference between not being turned on and being anxious. Okay,
Yeah.
so anxious would be in terms of, we'll make it specific to erection challenges and performance
Yeah.
anxiety, okay? Because
Mhm,
there could be many different types of
mhm,
reasons why we could be anxious in the bedroom.
mhm,
But specific to this, we would be thinking thoughts like, what if this doesn't go to plan again?
mhm,
What if I can't stay hard? What if I can't get hard? What if I can't reach the climax? What if they don't want me because of this? What if I'm not as good as other people that they've been with? And we feel like there's this loop going
yeah.
around mind and that we're stuck overthinking and we
Mhm,
want to get out of our head. We want to stop the overthinking, but it feels like we can't, that we're just stuck in there. Okay,
mhm,
so that's when we're experiencing anxiety in the bedroom.
mm,
When we're not turned on in the bedroom, that is different in the sense of it's not the loop of thoughts that's going on in our mind, but it's like maybe there's not really a sense of connection, or there's not really a feeling of being together
Mhm.
with the person. We can feel some kind of, it could be expectations, or maybe it's a hookup situation. We've all been there, right? Where
Mhm.
it's like we walk in the room and then it's immediately like straight to it. We don't even know the person. We don't even know the person's name sometimes.
So, pause right there, because sometimes gay men, uh, if they're in the hookup culture, some want open the door, the guy's bent over
Not ready to
immediately,
go.
already hard, have sex, right?
Yeah.
Other guys are like, no, I need to come in, see your face, have a little bit of dialogue, romance, do a little foreplay, and then they warm up and have sex.
Yeah.
I feel like people have to be honest about who they are and what they like sexually for them to get to the place of pleasure and excitement, and not try to really meet the needs of any and everybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 We can't control what other people want.
Yeah.
But what we are in control of is what turns us on.
Yeah.
And it's not a guessing game, by the way. We only have to look at our past experiences. Something I do with guys is we write down 3
Mhm.
memories of times where things have gone to plan
Mhm.
and times where things haven't gone to plan. You already have all the evidence
Yeah.
of, okay, when I do this, this, and this, when I talk to somebody, when I go on a date beforehand, where it's connecting and getting to know each other, that usually ends in, as an example, a sexy memory, one that,
Mhm. Mhm.
when it feels like rush, there's not a connection, or it's straight to this expectation of sex, or there's a time limit. These kind of things is more likely in the, it's not going to be such a good time.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Can you talk a little bit about some like non-medical techniques that guys can do to kind of reduce their anxiety around like sex and sexual performance?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only caveat that I will say here is, for
Mhm.
guys who are watching this and they're experiencing
Mhm.
this, the breathing, which is what I'm going to go through in a
Yep.
second, things like this are the most instant thing that we could do to calm the nervous system.
Mhm.
But I want to be clear in saying they're not the thing on their own that will fix performance anxiety. That work is deeper. Okay. We
Yeah.
have to go on a journey to be able to get that sorted, which often takes a lot less time than most people think it does.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, uh, the go-to things that I would say straight away is there's something called box breathing, which you may have heard of, where it's, imagine a box, 4 sides. We breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and hold it for a count of 4. So imagine going around in a box, okay, like that.
Mm.
That's something that's fairly easy to do, even if we're with a partner in the moment, then probably not going to pick up so much that we're doing that. But yes, breathing is one way that we can calm our nervous system. I'm going to come back to the nervous system bit in a second, just make a note of that. There's also something called havening, which we wouldn't do with our partner because it maybe would look a bit strange, but we can go to the bathroom for a couple of minutes. And havening is basically where we put our hands on our shoulders like this and just gently stroke down and do a count of 1 and 2.
It feels soothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's soothing,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the reason as to why we're doing this is because it's exactly that. It's soothing to our nervous system. Our nervous system is the game here. When performance anxiety is a mindset challenge, which for
Mhm.
most of the guys it is, it's not a medical challenge, it's a mindset
Mhm.
challenge.
Mhm.
All that is happening, and I don't say this to belittle what's going on, but all that is happening is our body is going into a stress state. Our nervous system is going into a stress state instead of a
Mhm.
calm state. When our nervous system goes into a stress state, blood is redirected in a different way in
Yeah.
our body, away from the non-critical parts to the critical parts, our brain and our muscles. And so we're not able to get or maintain an erection in that moment because our dick is not a critical part of our body when our nervous system has gone into a stress state.
Mhm.
So that's the essence of what's actually going on in our body. It's another thing of how we, get that sorted. But
Mhm.
that's biologically what's happening when we're experiencing erection challenges. It's not that we're broken. It's not that something's wrong or that we're
Mhm.
dead downstairs.
Mhm.
No, it's that our stress state is being activated. So these things like breathing or the havening are techniques to try and bring a sense of equilibrium,
Mm.
but the work is deeper than that, right? Because
Yeah.
it's formed over many years, the challenges that have shown up. as to why we're experiencing performance anxiety. So just doing a box breathing exercise is not going to resolve like 10, 15, 20, 30 years of
Oh, correct. Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah. And Shay, sometimes I talk to my dating coaching clients and I remind them that sometimes sexual excitement, sometimes your body might confuse that with anxiety. When you're like really sexually attracted to someone and your body is like getting really excited, you get a
Mm,
little nervous, you get a little anxious.
mm.
And I just like you talk about taking a breath, using something to soothe you, it's like refocusing and saying, hey, what's going on? Do I need a moment? Do I need to just
Yeah.
breathe? And trying to recenter yourself to focus on enjoying the experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Enjoying
Yeah.
the sensations, enjoying the just noticing, like coming back into our body. Again, it's easier said than done because I've been there of the mind looping and looping, and it feels like it's just not possible to focus on anything else. But
Yeah.
yes, ideally, that's where we want to be getting to the point where we notice our mind wander a bit, like in meditation. We notice the mind wander, we gently bring it back. It wanders again, we gently bring it back.
Yeah. And just looking at your partner's body, because I wanted to talk about like how do you do this with your partner? Because it's like recentering your focus on your body, your partner's body, the romance or the romantic scene that you all might have set, and really just enjoying the space so that you can get focused again. Yeah.
Yes, and I think for many guys, definitely that I work with, and especially for many gay men, this unfortunately is not the kind of intimacy that we're having on most of like
Mhm.
80% of the time. Is not romantic, connected, where we're looking into each other's eyes, where we are able to talk about the experience, where we're able to share things, share vulnerability, take time to explore each other's bodies.
Mhm.
Um, Usually it's more in the territory of like just got to get it over and done with, or same position, same routine, same thing every time, and it feels more of a routine as opposed to something that's enjoyable
Yeah.
and erotic.
Yeah. I like switching things up. Like if you're finding that you're like, oh, things aren't working, or I'm anxious, or this is just same old thing, switch it up. Talk to your partner, have a conversation like, hey, let's turn the lights on this time, or let's go to a different room, or turn the heat up, or turn the heat, like do different things that are going to change the mood for you so that it can stimulate you in a different way.
Hmm. Yes, and it can feel really uncomfortable to have these conversations as well.
Mm,
Like this is
mm,
it's
mm.
like in the words of Ariana Grande, yes, and
Yes, and yes, yes.
yes, and it's like, yes, it's important to have that. And we also need to know how to have those conversations in a
Mhm,
way that most of the time when we talk about sex or intimacy, it ends up in an argument or it feels really uncomfortable to talk about it. We don't know
mhm.
how to talk about it, so we just avoid it.
Yeah.
And when we avoid it, things just go into status quo or go quite stale over time.
Yeah.
Or it turns into more of a friendship as opposed to a romantic erotic relationship.
Yeah.
So this is also part of it as well, knowing how to talk about intimacy in a way that doesn't put
Hmm.
things up.
Yeah. Some of the hottest sex you can have is with an intimate partner. So if you can have these intimate conversations with your sexual partner, it only heightens things because they will then be focused more on trying to meet your sexual needs instead of guessing, making mistakes, or just saying, "Hey, I'm just gonna focus on me because you don't know what's going on over there." So if you have those conversations, it only heightens the experience. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Totally
So
agree.
yeah, talk a little bit about like because I know people want quick fixes,
Yeah.
right? They're like, "Oh, well, just give me a pill, give me a shot." But like, when should someone actually start to have the conversation with their medical provider and seek like treatment?
I love this question.
Yeah,
So the pills, whatever the thing is that we've been trying, the first question would be, is that working?
yeah.
Is it getting you the results that you want over the long term? Are you seeing consistent improvement?
Mhm,
Now,
mhm.
we often kid ourselves and we do these mini tests of like, oh, if I can get hard this time, then everything's okay, or things are going in the right direction. But then 80% of the other times, things are not going to plan. So the
Mhm.
brain will always want to focus on, what feels the most comfortable. And talking to a medical provider or a coach therapist feels uncomfortable, can feel
Yes.
uncomfortable. So our brain naturally will want to avoid that. But in terms of when we should start having the conversations with somebody, so I think always speaking to a healthcare provider first of all is an important thing, so that we can rule out anything medical that's going on. If we're noticing anything that's really been going on for a few months onwards, for most guys that I work with, it's been years, 5 years, 10 years, for some guys 20 years or more that this has been going on. And so speaking to our primary caregiver and just saying, okay, I've noticed some challenges being able to get or maintain my erection. I'd like to get some bloods and testosterone checks done. Okay, that's really it. They'll be totally familiar with that, but that's the starting point. So we can just make sure, okay, is the testosterone within the right range, and that there's nothing going on in terms of that needs further investigation. For most guys, there's not, but it's important that we do this. A, to rule out any medical issues, but B, just to be able to close that chapter in the mind of what if something medically is wrong with me.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're noticing continuous over time challenges with erections or ejaculation, climaxing, and that's been going on fairly consistently for a period of, let's say, 6 months or more, it's time to go and speak to somebody and have a conversation about it. If we're talking about the odd occasion where our erection hasn't been as hard as it was on another occasion, or where it was a bit more difficult to climax, but 80% of the time things are fine, it's okay. That's normal.
I'm happy you shared that, because I think sometimes people don't think that that is normal, right? Yeah.
No, we think, and we spoke about this earlier, porn. That's our reference point for what intimacy should look like. And obviously all we see in porn is not the behind the scenes of them injecting Viagra into their dicks. It is the constantly hard, always ready to go explosions, like you said, breaking the backs. That made me laugh. Like, that's what we see. So that's the reference point for most of us, and that's what we compare it to, especially when we're jerking off watching porn as well. We're training our brain. This is what good intimacy looks like. This is what makes me feel good. So that in itself can lead to performance challenges. But yeah, we've got to be honest with ourselves around it is normal for erections to fluctuate. Many different things can impact that. It could even be a shit night's sleep. If we have a bad night's sleep, we can expect that our erections are not going to be the same. If we've been drinking the day before, we can expect that. So there's so many different factors that play into it. But if our erections are within the, like, let's say 70 to 100% range, and it just varies, that's absolutely normal.
You hear that, people? You hear that? It is normal. So take a deep breath, give yourself a break, and understand that it does not have to be rock hard all the time. Okay.
No, and most of the time it won't be, right? There's like maybe one in however many times we're going to feel like, wow, we were rock hard and we remember it. But we can almost count those experiences on 1 or 2 hands.
Yeah.
Right. Throughout our life. It's just, apart from like when we were a teenager, the peak of our reproductive, let's say, on our testosterone levels.
Right.
But outside of that, it's not. So yeah, having a fluctuation 70, 80 to 100%, something, that's fine. That's normal.
And you're not a robot. You're not a dildo. You're not a toy. You're a human. So it's okay. So there are a couple of dating tips I want to suggest to you all as you're watching, about trying to make sure you reduce your sexual performance anxiety. So take some notes in the comment section and tell me what you all think about this, okay? The first one, you are not going to like this one. So cuss me out now, whatever, okay? I feel like number one is that you have to talk about sex before you get into the bedroom. Like on a date, in a conversation, and that might look like I'm not talking about who's a top, who's a bottom. I'm talking about sometimes you're like, hey, sometimes my dick goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes I get in my head, but I want to stay connected to you sexually, right? Have those conversations before you get into the bedroom. Try it. I mean, just try it one time and tell me how it goes, okay? Number 2 is focus on intimacy and not intercourse, okay? You gay men who are sides, I am not a side, but there are a lot of sides who are out there who don't actually like penetration, right? And I feel like if you are just focusing on mutual masturbation and satisfaction and intimacy and connection, it doesn't require penetration all the
Yeah.
time. Okay. It does not. So that's a pointer for the people who are sides. I think number three is you have to explore your body without pressure. I mean, like, take some time to explore your body, play with yourself, masturbate, see what turns you on by yourself. And it does not require a partner. I bet you if you get in touch with yourself physically, when you start to add a person to it, you know what you like, you know what the vibe should be. You should be like, hey, play with the nipple. Okay, now do this, tickle this, you see, I'm teaching you all talk, but you have to know your body first, right?
Mhm.
I think another thing is it is okay to see a doctor to, as Shay talked about, to get things checked out. It might be a blood pressure issue. It might be a testosterone issue. It might be something mentally going on that your doctor can say, hey, this is a treatment that can fix this, or let's do an exercise or change your diet or go to sleep. There are some physical things that you can do to improve your sexual health. I think the next thing is let's take the shame away from using supplements and ED medication. Listen, if you need a little help, you need a little support, you need something to spice things up, get you a honey pack, get you a Viagra, get you whatever you need to make you feel more confident, as long as you are not damaging your body. So if you noticed in the video, the guy was wearing the cock ring way too much. And it's like literally killing the cells in his penis. So make sure you're using those supplements, those medications, those devices in a safe way. And then the last thing, keep your definition of sex very wide, right? Sex could be, making eye contact, using toys. You can just kissing, playing around, and it does not require you to perform like a porn star. Okay, I want you all to practice some of those, take heed to those, and let me know what you all think about that in the comment section. Shay, do those align with you? Did I steer them in the right way?
Yeah, I think the a couple of that stood out to me that I was writing down.
Mm,
The Viagra, the pills, yes, absolutely. Let's reduce the shame
mm,
around that. It's okay.
mm,
It's okay. And what we want to be avoiding is a feeling of a dependency on that. And
mm,
anyway, when we're experiencing performance anxiety, the pills are not the things that get that sorted. And we will notice that half of the time they work, the other times they don't work, or they just don't, they've kind of stopped working. Right, which is when we know, again, it's a mindset thing, because the pills don't work unless the body is in a calm state. That's something that we don't read on the side of the packet, because it's not
mhm.
on there, as far as I'm aware. That the body has to be in a calm state for the pills to even work in the first place. If we have anxiety going into sex, doesn't matter what we're taking,
Yeah,
it's not going to be happening. So, but it's fine. We want to get to the point where we feel indifferent about, okay, about to have intimacy with this person. Yeah, I could have a pill, or but it doesn't really bother me. Either way is okay, right? That's the sweet spot.
that's the
That
goal. Yeah.
and then the other bit around that you said, sex, the definition of sex being wide. I agree with this, and the point that I often make is sex versus the erotic. Okay, this is a really important distinction. We often think, oh, we just want to have more sex, but
Mhm,
if we're having sex that's not going to plan, or where we don't really feel connected, engaged with the person, why would we want to be having more of that kind of sex that doesn't turn us on? The
mhm,
erotic is about desire, it's about passion, it's about intimacy, it's about looking into each other's eyes, it's about feeling the goosebumps on the skin when we're stroking the skin. It's about trying new things where we feel vulnerable, a bit scared.
mhm.
This is the erotic. This is what we want more of. It's not
Mm,
standard sex. It's more of the erotic.
yeah.
So, yeah, the definition of sex, I agree. Keep it wide, but also look at the erotic, because that's what we want more of.
Are you all paying attention? It's the erotic. It's not about, oh, let's just ram it in
Yeah.
and
There's just
climax.
sex is the mechanical act of sex is very limited. It's just in and out of
Yeah,
penetration, the mechanical act, the physical act of it.
yeah,
The erotic is about our mind, our senses. What can I taste? What's the touches? What are the
yeah.
smells? What am I thinking? How am I feeling? It's like it's a whole nother level. That's what
Yeah.
takes us into incredible intimacy,
Yes.
is the erotic.
I'm telling you all, this is a tip. If you focus more on being erotic with a guy, he's going to invite you back. Okay. That's
Yeah.
how you keep a man. Take a note. This is how you keep a man. Okay. The rest of these people are just, you can get that anywhere. Okay. Take your time. Make that guy say, I'm coming back. I'm bringing some food next time. Okay. Shay,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having this conversation with me. Tell folks where they can find more information about you if they want to work with you or just reach out to you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. So you'll see the link to the website below, but Shay Doran, my first name and surname, shay-doran.com. And then in the notes in the comment section, we'll put the link to the YouTube channel and also a if it's okay with you, a performance anxiety quiz that I have for guys that they can take this free quiz. If you're listening to this and you're experiencing erection challenges or performance anxiety, if it's felt relatable, then I would say this quiz is a good place to start because it will show you, is this performance anxiety or is it something else that's going on?
Yeah. Shay, you have been so insightful and helpful. Again, thank you so much for the conversation and the resources that you're providing for gay men. Again, have a good one. Thank you so much, Shay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, people. Okay. Tell me what you all thought about this conversation today. Did you feel like it is relatable? Do you think, like Lamont, it's TMI? It's TMI. It's not needed. Definitely, I want to hear you all's input. If these are things that we should continue to talk about on this network, on this channel, let me know in the comment section because I feel like as gay men, we are whole individuals and we should tackle different aspects that are um, strengths of ours, challenges of ours, and different solutions to help us all grow. So, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. Yes, I know I'm going to keep saying that, but share the damn video, okay? All right, until next time, I don't know when I'll be back to do another dating dilemma because I know I need to do a couple more episodes of my in person podcast. So I don't know, people. We'll see when I get back. Until then, enjoy your time.
Mr. So and so made it.